I want to switch over to Spain a little bit. Tell me more about your trip. This is like a
Okay.
hiking expedition in Spain, right?
Yeah, Camino de Santiago is actually very old, and it has, I would say, a lot of religious connotations to
Okay.
it. So basically, the peregrinos were the people that would just do all these different paths and end up in Santiago de Compostela, which is a city that they have this gigantic cathedral, all in gold and very precious, very nice. And we, as a group, like I have a group of friends that we've done Machu Picchu, we've done Torres del Paine and other places, and we mostly do it because we like doing these kind of expeditions, hiking, getting together, and seeing beautiful places, discovering this type of things. So I will guess we did it mainly for, you could call it maybe spiritual reasons, as they ask you when you go to do it. They ask you, are you doing it for tourism, spiritual reasons,
Oh,
for
really?
religious reasons? So you need to fill a form there. And we really enjoyed it. We did, so before I start saying that, I like to let you know that there are actually many paths to Santiago. There
I'm
are,
looking at a map right now of all the paths.
oh, I see. So we did the French path, which starts in France, but we only
Camino
did,
Francis,
yeah.
or
So
yeah.
that's basically the French path, Camino de Francés. And there are others. There's the original one. There's the Portuguese. There's the one in the north that goes through Bilbao and on the whole coast in Spain, which I was told was very nice. And there are many more even. And each person starts where they want, really. We started in a city called Astorga, which is in the way of the French path, and it's 260 kilometers away from Santiago. So we did that distance by foot in 11 days.
Okay, I'm trying to think.
And
I'm trying to calculate in my head
we did, so
260 kilometers.
just, yes, just so you know, we did around uh, from 20 to 30 kilometers per day.
Wow. So you're doing a lot of walking.
Yeah, we did a lot of walking.
So what did you do? So you walked to, it looks like you would walk to one of these, um, what are these cities? And then there's like things to do, I would imagine, or places to see. I'm looking at this map and then there's like all these dots and icons. Is that, how did you kind of organize your trip? Like per day you would walk to another place. Would you then like sightsee a little bit, or would you just go to sleep and then just get ready for the next day?
So let me tell you what happened. We had an idea on what we were gonna do,
Okay, of course.
and we had planned some of these things. And particularly a friend of mine was the one that organized most of it. And we did an Excel. He did even a presentation and everything. We had everything organized. And when we arrived the first day, and you mostly stay at local hostels and things called albergues, which are kind of a hostel. And due to COVID, they have 50% of occupation or even less in some places.
Okay.
And we stayed at a place which is owned by a lady from Brazil, that she did the Camino, and then she decided to stay there long ago. And we told them what we were gonna do, and she was like, no, 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 you need to do this and this. And we were like,
Oh,
we were gonna do a free walking city tour
uh-huh.
for like at 10 a.m. or something like that, and then start walking. And she was like, no, you cannot do that. Like, You need to start walking early because of the sun and everything. And well, she was like a mother to the group of us in that
Wow.
she gave us a lot of tips. So I think we started in the right foot there, thanks to her help. And so every day we will wake up at 5:30 or 6, depending on the difficulty of what we had ahead. And we
Okay.
will arrive towards the midday or 2 p.m. max. So one of the things that may worry you the most when you do the path is the sun, especially at that time of the year in the end of August.
Mhm.
It was the time that that we did it, and it's much harder to do it if it's hot and you need to be climbing so,
Yeah.
something. It's a lot harder for us. I think it did very well. The weather really, we had very beautiful days. Just one day which it rained, but it was actually nice because it was cool and we didn't have like it was very comfortable to walk like that. So it was
So
just
you walked in the rain.
yeah, but not that much rain really. It rained
Okay.
for a bit and then it was just cloudy, and it was great to walk that way.
So you're trying to avoid the sun as much as possible, right?
Yeah, uh, everyone does in the Camino.
Yeah. So what were your favorite parts of the trip?
The favorite part of the Camino to me is meeting people along the way. So we were a group of 7, all from Uruguay, but we will always end up splitting because first of all, everyone has its own pace, and then because I think it's good to just have your stages, like do some stages alone and meet other people and just talk and get to know people that are doing it, why they are doing it, where they come from, what their experiences have been. And along the way, I met some wonderful people. We met somebody from Bilbao, which accompanies us most of the trip. He was going mostly the same pace that we were going. I made a couple of friends from Barcelona who like they later joined the group. So and and you also see other people that have other groups that are going more or less at your pace, and you see that many of them actually started solo. They started doing
Oh,
it,
really?
yeah, on their own, and then they started forming these groups, and they would stay at albergues and hostels together. So like uh, I think a very important part of the journey of doing the Camino is actually meeting people. And uh, in all these things that you do, trekking and things, it's one of the things that you remember the most, the people that you have met.
So you're with a group of friends who you have
Mhm.
like a close relationship with, and then in addition, you're meeting other people that you might stay in touch with during that time.
Right, and some people you met them for a few hours, and you do a little bit together. Other people you may meet them for the whole journey. It depends.
Yeah.
So, but I remember I met someone from the US. And he's from New York,
Okay.
and he's an educator. And well, we had a very good talk in a stage of the Camino. He actually started in France, so he was doing 700 plus kilometers. It was pretty insane.
Wow. Huh. So what happens when you arrive at the destination? What is that like?
Well, the interesting thing is that you go through several cities and very small towns. Some of
Mhm.
these towns are just live because of the Camino, because of the people that stay there. So
Yeah.
you may encounter some very small towns that are just 20 people living there, or people that actually don't live there but come to work there. And you may stay at any stage that you want. So some people may stay there and some others may stay in the next town. So maybe in that day you won't see them, but in the next day you may encounter them again as you pass them while you are doing the Camino.
It's awesome. So where does this trip rank in your experiences hiking and stuff?
Oh, it's I think that that's hard to do, especially because it's been so recent. But I think it's very valuable, and there are different aspects to it. Because if you were to say about like the sightseeing that we did, I would probably put Torres del Paine, which is the Chilean Patagonia, first, because it's the place that I've seen the most beautiful sightseeing, mountains, everything from icebergs to mountain. It has everything. But then from other aspects like meeting people and eating in Spain, you eat very well. And it's incredible. Like you could rank it in the first place. Like one thing I don't know if you know about Spain is that they eat two plates. Like they have two servings in lunch, and that's something that I'm not used to. And well, since we're walking so much and burning so much calories, that was great to have. But it's not something that, at least here in Uruguay, we are used to doing.
Wow. So you have this trip. You said you did the Chilean Patagonia, and Machu Picchu. Have you done other hikes? And are there some that you want to do in the future?
Yeah, there's definitely many that I want to do. I've done some, I would say, day trips here in Uruguay, but nothing that compares to those, I would say. And I want to go. There's this region which is all across Canada and the US, the Rocky Mountains. So there's a lot there.
Which one is that
to do.
called?
The Rocky Mountains.
Oh, you just want to do Rocky Mountains. Do you ever hear about the Appalachian Trail?
Sorry, the what? Huh?
The Appalachian Trail, is that something you hear about?
I don't think so. Are you talking about the train that goes all through Canada? No.
No, there's like a something I hear like hikers talk about is like the Appalachian Trail, like on the east part of the United States, kind of like older mountains.
I
But
haven't heard of it.
you haven't
It
heard of it.
sounds
Check it out.
interesting.
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
if
The
that's
Appalachian
something.
Trail.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Are there any other continents you want to hike on?
Sure, of course. I just started with Europe. So this was actually my first visit to Europe. I have all
Oh,
years
cool.
to visit still. And there's a lot in Asia, of course. And there's a lot still in the Americas to discover.
What was Machu Picchu like?
Oh, it's an incredible journey. We did what's called the Salcantay Trail, and it's over 5 days. You end up sleeping in the middle of the mountains, and it's journey. So before I went to Machu Picchu, I had never seen a mountain before. So when we went there and I woke up on the bus as we were going, I woke up and it was like 6 a.m. or something like that. It was barely, so it was dark and it was barely getting some light. And I saw like this gigantic mountain, and it was very impactful. And then I kind of realized why they worship these mountains as gods, the people that live there. And it has very incredible sightseeing along the way. What I enjoyed the most in that trip is doing all the way. We went up to a mountain that was 5,700 meters tall. And I think Machu Picchu, it's impactful, the place itself, because of where it's situated and everything. But for me, the journey and doing all this walking and going through the mountains and everything, it was much more special and enjoyable to me than just seeing the place.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking like merit. The place is great. Many people even just go directly and see the place itself without doing all this walking.
Uh-huh.
But
you earned it. You went on the wall.
right,
Yeah.
it's another feeling also arriving after doing all that.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. So you've been all, those are some good spots. I definitely want to do
Mm.
Machu Picchu.